What's up, guys? My name is Shreyas and welcome back to my channel, and also welcome to the Wisdom Diet podcast. Why is it called the Wisdom Diet podcast, right? The reason for that is our guests, our wise guests, will be feeding you with a lot of wisdom, and hence, feeding you with wisdom, and hence we call it the Wisdom Diet podcast. Anyway, today's guest is Aman Duggal, who I'm a huge fan of and who I have a lot of respect for, and you'll know why, because once we start with the podcast, you'll know the kind of information he can deliver on the podcast, right? So Aman Duggal made a video for my channel, a 30-minute presentation basically, where he spoke about the reality of a vegan diet and how you can follow a vegan diet and still build muscle, and also the supplements that you might have to take for vegan diet. So that was one of the first interactions with Aman, and since then he's also the founder of Alpharaj, an independent organization that basically aims at changing the fitness industry by delivering unbiased opinions and unbiased information for people to follow. Aman also has written for the Alan Aragon Research Review. If you don't know who Alan Aragon is, then you should know. Alan Aragon is a very smart person, and he does the meta-analysis of by combining all the research that we use as trainers and coaches to help you guys, right? So Aman has written for that and also worked with people like Eric Helms, and Eric Helms is one of the person that I respect a lot. Okay, so Eric Helms, Aman has worked with Eric Helms, and Eric Helms has also used Aman's information and article for his own lecture as well. So this is just a basic introduction of Aman, but we'll get more into Aman, not literally, but we'll talk more with Aman and about Aman once he's here and we start off with the podcast. But yeah, guys, I hope that you guys enjoy this podcast as well. Aman is a very Aman can give you a lot of information. Do follow his Instagram, the link will be in the description. Do follow his YouTube channel, the link will also be in the description, and follow him everywhere. Show him some love, because especially if you enjoy this podcast. So, all right, so Aman, where have you been? It's been a while since we connected. It's been 5 years. I just checked my YouTube video and our chats and everything. So it's been 5 years. So that's 2016. So where have you been? Okay, I have also disappeared for 2 years, but where were you till 2020? Where were you?
I guess we were both missing in action. And I took a hiatus from social media. It wasn't deliberate. It wasn't something which I thought that I take a 3-year break or something of that sort. It didn't happen intentionally. It just happened. So 2018 got a little difficult for me, somewhere in the middle of 2018. And for that reason, I just stopped posting on social media. And as a consequence of stopping posting on social media, I guess that just carried on for a lot longer than I anticipated. And the thing is, it didn't really affect me much because I had spent some time on social media building a reputation, and I had acquired a sizable clientele, which was serving me well. Now, when I say clientele, this isn't just clients, as in coaching clients, but I was also working with a few companies, helping them with their products. I was also teaching a few students. I was also lecturing. So, as far as finances are concerned, my presence on social media wasn't mandatory. At least that's what I thought, till 2020 came along, and it became difficult for the fitness industry. And then I realized that I have to come back to social media, embrace what I don't enjoy as much. So social media is something which does not come very naturally to me. I like studying, and I would, in an ideal world, I would like the industry to appreciate me for just my work, but we know the fitness industry doesn't work like that.
Yeah,
There is a little show business involved.
yeah, yeah.
So that's why I'm back on social media.
Yeah. So when I first started talking to you, I wouldn't say you are a different person, but you seemed like more of a calm and composed, kind of a guy. I'm not saying you are, acting that way, but now you are completely, you're more outspoken compared to before, at least from on the social media front, right? So what triggered that for you, that I have to speak more, and I need to speak what I think and what's in my mind? What triggered that for you?
Right, Shreyas. That's a good question. And I was always an outspoken personality. Even on social media, when I would write authoritatively. I would write aggressively. If you remember, I had strong opinions, firm opinions on what I wrote about. Um, Even with regards to some of the information I shared about vegan nutrition, it wasn't in line with what was being taught by the evidence based fitness community at that time. So there was a challenging element involved to what I used to share before. But I guess I was far more gracious and far more, let's say, traditionally professional as
Hmm.
far as my presentation or delivery is concerned. Now, what happened over the years is, I guess, I did not receive the appreciation I thought I deserved. I spent a lot of time studying, and our industry does not value that. And that's
Hmm.
fine.
Hmm.
This is the fitness industry at the end of the day. But I also, let's just say, there are people who I felt did not do right by me. There were certain partnerships which did not go well. There were certain companies I was associated with, um, and they just let me go
Hmm.
when things got difficult for them. And I get it, okay? 2019-20 was a difficult time for the entire industry. So you have to let some people go. You can't just keep paying them hefty salaries. And yeah, I guess I was a little bitter. And I felt like I had a few scores to settle.
Hmm.
So I did what I know best. I came on social media and I started speaking my mind.
Hmm.
That's about it. As far as my aggressive and hostile avatar is concerned, we can speak about that. There is maybe a touch of acting involved there, but
Okay.
more than anything, most of what I share on social media, it comes straight from the heart. It is the
Hmm.
truth.
You're like a heart on the sleeve kind of a guy, right?
Yes.
Yeah, and you play football as well, which is great for me to know, because that is something I can definitely relate with you on. Because football, like you said, you use football as a like a healing thing, right? You use it as a feel good kind of a thing, not just because you're competitive or you want to push, you take out your anger or something like that. So that is something that I've noticed with you is football, or any sport for that matter, like it can be squash or cycling or anything. It's great, and maybe that is what maybe helps you keep calm for the rest of the times, right? When you're by yourself or with your friends. And I definitely agree with your point that people sometimes fail to appreciate people that they learn the most from. I'll give you the context there. So let's say someone is trying to build a good physique. Okay, now they'll go to an Aman Duggal's website, or they'll go to an Aman Duggal's blog, or go to an Aman Duggal's video, or I'll add myself there as well. Let's say they will go and watch my videos, some of my videos, where I help people lose weight, for fat people, because losing fat is not just about calories in, calories out. You have the mental aspect as well. So I like to talk a lot about that. But what might happen, especially what happened to you, would be you put out so much content, even that video on my channel, right? If you made a
Yeah.
video, if you made that video where you showed your face in a tank top, the response would have been completely different, right? So that
Yes.
is what I feel. Like people take the information from people like you and use it, build their physique, but the credit usually goes somewhere else. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
So that is the one part with of fitness industry that I really don't like. But somehow I've gotten used to it. I don't care. Like similarly to you, of course, my way of presentation is slightly different, but I made peace with that, and I don't care about what others are doing anymore. Like you said, financially, you know it's you don't have to be the top dog in terms of numbers on YouTube or Twitter or Instagram to have a put food on your plate, right? So that is what has helped me make peace with that. And yeah, definitely I agree with the next point that I wanted to discuss was, you seem like a completely different person, but now that I'm talking to you here, right, I can
Yeah.
understand that maybe 10% of the type of content you put on Instagram, where you're like fully like pre-workout hype, it's a little bit of it's a show business. At the end of the day, fitness has become, whether we like it or not, right, it has become
Yeah.
like that. And your content is definitely entertaining. That's how you should do it. Be yourself and add a little bit masala to it, and you're right there. So in your introduction thing that you sent me, you talked about Vishwanath, right? Now Vishwanath, if you don't
Yeah.
know, Vishwanath, I used to do powerlifting in 2018, or tried doing powerlifting in 2018. I used to work under a guy called Pradeep. I don't know if you know him. So he's also like a,
I think I do.
yeah, I think you know him. Yeah, he's from Mangalore here. Yeah, and Vishwanath is
Yeah.
from Kundapur, right? I mean, close to Mangalore. Yeah, he's from close to Mangalore.
I cannot remember now, but he is from he's from Mangalore.
Yeah, he's closer to Manipal. You know Manipal, right?
Yes.
Yeah, he's close to Manipal. So when that accident happened, right? When that
Hmm.
accident happened, I mean, my trainer was talking about all that, and that's how. Then I went to Facebook and saw. Then you also started posting, right? So tell me his story. Like I'll post pictures of his, the whole thing on the screen. But like what happened and how he recovered, because this can also apply to people who have a, let's say, a crazy injury, right? But this is a different level, like a life threatening accident.
Yeah.
But this can also serve as motivation to people who are down bad, right? Down bad with injury or something. So tell me about that.
I would like to preface Vishwa's story by saying I don't know how much of this can actually serve as motivation for people, because Vishwa is built different, not just physically but mentally as well. And that is largely a consequence of where he comes from, and the adversity he has faced from the time he was born. I will let Vishwa share that story, because I'm nobody to share that story. He has shared bits and pieces of that story with me, and he has an incredible story. Um, from where he comes from, what he has achieved is monumental, to say the least. Now, about that accident, um, this I believe, I'm really bad at dates, but I believe this was early 2018, if I'm not mistaken.
Somewhere around that, yeah.
Yeah, or mid 2018, around March, April, May, perhaps. Okay, I can't remember the exact month, but Vishwa was supposed to speak to me. He was supposed to send me a message, or we were supposed to get on call to discuss his programming, and he just disappeared for a day, and another day went by, and then one of my colleagues reached out to me, I think on day three, and she let me know that Vishwa met with an accident. I was like, okay, it's an accident. Little did I know how severe that accident was. It was pretty bad.
Yeah, very bad.
Yeah, so he was sleeping in his bus, and I think a bulldozer or something of that sort made contact.
Yeah, it was
Right.
crazy, dude. Yeah.
Yeah. to the extent that he was wearing a headset. His headset came off, and along with his headset, his entire ear came off, man. Um, and it was terrible. He had multiple fractures. He was in a coma. The doctor said he wouldn't make it, and yeah, we just wanted Vishwa to be alive.
Hmm.
We just wanted him to be alive and hopefully mobile.
Hmm.
That's how bad it was. And miraculously, this guy is back on his feet in, I guess, a little under 3 weeks. Then he calls me and he's like, I want to start training. And that's when we had a big disagreement. I said, Vishwa, maybe you need to think about this, right? Okay, let's slow it down a little bit. He's like, I want to compete at the Commonwealth and I want that world record. I said, yeah, I want that world record for you too, my
Hmm.
friend. It's not that I don't want you to break that world record. This was always in his mind. Uh, People think that he just happened to break this world record. No, this is something he visualized from the time we started working together. This was the ultimate dream. I said, yeah, we can most certainly do that, but we need to take it slow. I'll tell you something. He did a lot which I did not prescribe. So
Hmm.
if I prescribed a certain load for him, he'd usually almost always end up doing 50 to 100
Hmm.
kilos more.
Hmm.
And kudos to him. See, I'll tell you something. People think it's really difficult working with athletes, okay? Or they think, coaches
It's
think that working with
complicated.
athletes is complicated. To be honest with you, the only thing you really need to do as far as working with athletes is concerned is to make sure that they're happy, healthy, and out of trouble.
Yeah.
They're sleeping well and they aren't injured.
Injured.
You
Yeah.
don't want, yeah, you don't want your strength and conditioning coming in the way of their sport for the most part. They'll do everything else.
Hmm.
They'll take care of everything else. And yeah, the athletes I worked with, a lot of them aren't disciplined. They won't follow my diet to the T or follow my training program to the T, but they are just built like absolute tanks, man.
Hmm. Hmm.
That
Hmm.
even if they consume 10 to 20% of my advice, they'll still make it. Working with athletes is an absolute dream.
Hmm.
It's the easiest thing a coach can do
Yeah.
is work with genetically gifted beasts. Now, being genetically gifted does not mean that it's easy for athletes. That's what a lot of people get wrong. Where Vishwa comes from, it's not easy at all. And a lot of what appears like a genetic gift is both a nature come nurture,
Hmm.
um, is a consequence of both nature and nurture. He's been on his feet since the time he was a child, man, and he's been
He
at it.
has that grit, grit, and he's basically hard. He's not soft. Is that what you mean?
Exactly. He had to be. There's no other way he would have survived and done anything in life if he wasn't hard.
Correct. Correct.
Because
Correct.
where he comes from, you have one of two choices. Either you're hard and you get out of that place, or you just stay there for the rest of your
Hmm.
life.
Hmm.
That's how it is.
Hmm.
So yeah, kudos to
That
Vishwa for
was
that.
that was amazing, dude. Now, since we are talking about training people and all that, so how would you describe yourself? What kind of trainer? Let's say I take training from you, which I might in the
Yeah.
future. You never know. To get to the end stage, you need some extra help. But so let's say I approach you. Okay, I do all the necessary things. I fill out your whatever form. I talk to you. So how would
Hmm.
you approach, let's say, a person who has good genetics, okay, who
Hmm.
has who is on the right track, but
Hmm.
he is still, he doesn't have that the motivation, so-called motivation. So what is your whole view
Yeah.
on motivation, not just in terms of training people, but generally in life? Because you were down bad, right, for a while,
Yeah.
just like me. I was also down bad, but here you are today, here I am today. So So I use a different, I'll talk about that later. But for you, when you are
Yeah,
down bad in life or with anything, work, job, fitness, anything, so the
right.
word motivation, what does that word motivation mean to you exactly?
The motivation, as is traditionally used on social media, um, I don't find much in the way of value when I think about motivation that way. Like you said, I've been miserable. 2018, like post July, was a miserable time for me. 2019 got better.
Exact time for me as well. That is when it started. I felt it. It might have
Yeah,
started earlier, but I felt it during that time. It
yeah,
was hard.
yeah. So that was a rough time. And then 2020 was just nasty, man. That was the worst. And fortunately, I had a good doctor who took care of me. Um, but yeah, the thing is, my motivations never changed. My purpose never
Meaning,
changed.
meaning, right?
Yeah, like what I wanted to do, it never kind of
Exactly.
changed.
Yeah.
Right. I wanted to become a teacher and I wanted to teach. And this is a project which I've been chipping away at. It was supposed to launch in 2018. It took me 3 extra years to launch it because life came in the way. And figuring that situation out taught me a lot about how I need to approach life moving forward if I do not want situations like this to affect me. Because, see, life is difficult and these situations are going to come about again, right? Um, Difficult situations happen to everyone. And then how you respond to those situations will largely decide whether you're able to cope with them and move forward or if they affect you. And sometimes they end up affecting you for a really long time. That's what happened to me. So, a lot of what I've learned in this regard when it comes to motivation comes from my psychiatrist, Dr. Targe. And he helped me understand that it's not really about motivation, it's about looking after yourself. You must look after yourself. If your body, your mind, it's not like body and mind is different, but that's how it's generally conveyed. That's why I'm separating the two. If you have a healthy body, a healthy mind, if you're looking after yourself and you're prioritizing yourself, um, the likelihood that you are more resilient when difficult situations present themselves is a lot higher. And that's true. It's not like life doesn't get difficult from time to time. Of course, situations come about and you have to deal with them. I still do, but my priorities have changed. I make sure that no matter what, I'm taking good care of myself. I'm eating well, I'm sleeping well, I'm engaging in some form of exercise, an enjoyable form. So that's where the whole football thing comes in, and that's why I prioritize football over maintaining a muscular physique now. Yeah, and there are many other adjustments which you need to make in terms of how you perceive life and
Correct.
who you spend time with. What's your environment like? Because a lot of see, weakness as a term has a negative connotation to it because we don't want to admit there's something known as weakness. I believe there's something to be said about being weak, because I've been weak and I've also been strong, and I've experienced. I'm not trying to say that I'm strong now. Okay, there may be still situations which may weaken me because I haven't developed the qualities or the attributes to deal with those situations. But the situations which have affected me in the past, they'll not affect me again. I can promise you that. Um, because now I know what it takes to deal with those situations, and that's the message which my therapist shared with me, and which I try and share with my students as well. That okay,
That's
these
actually good
situations when
advice. Sorry,
Yeah,
that's actually good advice. Talking about see, when you said resilience, right? A book that I read recently, in that what they said is, it's okay to fall down. It's okay to fall down, but when you get up, right, make sure that you're better than when you fell down, right? So when it's
yeah,
okay to fall, everyone will have that issue, right? It's better to
yeah,
embrace that, get up,
yeah,
but be a much better version of yourself, right? So that is what, and like you said, ki you had a purpose, right? You always had a purpose. That one thing has never changed for you, right? Even though
yeah,
maybe the way you approach it has changed, but that one purpose has never changed. And that is what I always
yeah,
tell people, when they ask me, bro, I'm not able to be consistent. That's what I tell them, ki there has to be something that you really want to do. If you have
yeah,
that, slowly, you'll reach that place where you're back to your best, right? So
yeah.
that's what I try to tell people. But yeah, regarding motivation, I definitely agree with you. And another thing is, I don't know if you have faced this, but because this is a whole digital age, do you ever
Yeah.
find yourself kind of comparing to other people, or kind of looking at others saying, why is that working, why is that guy there, or something like that, like how people think, right? Ki uski jagah wo meri jagah hai, like that is my place to be in. Have you ever felt like that, or you know
Perhaps in the past, but not anymore because see, I spent a lot of time studying nutrition, exercise, and the foundational sciences upon which nutrition and exercise are built. Over time, I realized that it's also important for me to study business and marketing. Now, when I look at someone and if they are doing well, let's say financially, or if they have more influence or authority, I can look at them. And if I spend some time exploring how they were able to make a name for themselves, it's obvious they put in the work. Now, that work may or may not align with my marketing values, let's just say, or my strategy as far as putting myself out there is concerned, but they put in the work. And that's why they are where they are. So, no, I don't compare myself to people, at least in this industry, for two reasons. One, we don't have competent professionals in this industry. And I know I'm good. I know I'm bloody good. Okay. Um, Gone are the days when I used to feel like maybe there's another professional who is better or well put together. Because see, it's very simple for me. If I feel someone really knows a thing or two and they know more than me, I will reach out to them. It's as simple as that. The people I speak to, the people I learn from, are people who know more about a particular subject than I do, and I feel like I can reach out to them and learn from them. Now, the good thing about spending time with these individuals, people you look up to, is you end up realizing they aren't all that special. Okay. And most of the times, these people who we look up to, at least in America and Europe, they are what I would categorize as, now I'm speaking in generics, this does not apply to everyone. They are what I would categorize as articulate fools, which means they write well, they speak well, they look good, but they don't have a damn clue about what they're talking about. And it makes sense, right? Because this is a fitness industry. The education structure here is built on certifications, not formal education. You don't have to go to college or university and spend 8 to 10 semesters, have vivas and theoretical exams and practical exams which you have to crack. And come on, I think both of us have experienced engineering, I guess, in some capacity, right? Yeah, yeah. Now we know that formal education structure. Even though if you want to become an engineer, even if you want to become an engineer or a doctor, you have this formal education structure which is there, which you have to crack. But you still get incompetent engineers. You get incompetent doctors. You who know nothing. How do you think what do you think is happening in the fitness industry when people are getting certifications, 3 month certifications, oh, evidence based certifications, year long certifications? I've done a few of them. No, they're not good enough. And that's a reality. And when
Sorry,
the educational,
can I cut you off there 1 second?
Yeah.
Uh,
Yes.
so regarding the certification thing, right? This is one question that I
Yes.
wanted to ask you. I'm not talking about certifications like, let's say, a CSCS, okay, or
Yeah.
like for example, you are the first one to get a scholarship, right? For when shredded by science used to be cool, right? Now though everyone knows about
Yeah.
that. It's not even called shredded by science. It's PT collective now. So because of
Yes.
that, right, like I said, I used to watch you a lot back in the day, as in watch you matlab not stalk you, but your work, right? So then I
Hmm.
decided to do that, and that is when they changed the name like all of a sudden, right?
Yeah.
At least from what I saw with the whole shredded by science thing, okay, maybe they did not give out like some crazy deep knowledge that you might have, but what I found out is it can definitely help people understand the whole training a person thing, like a
Yeah.
basic, like a fat loss thing, okay,
Oh, yes.
yeah, or building muscle, okay, and also the like at least like it can make you a good trainer, okay. So that is what I believe, okay. Okay, now the next thing. Now these
Hmm.
lot of these Instagrammers and lot of these people are starting their own, what do you call, certifications, right?
Right.
My question is for them to write a book, a certification book, like study material, okay.
Yeah.
What do you think about those, like where you just get a certification, like you said, 3 months, so the
Yeah.
credibility, right? Where do they get that credibility from? Like, is it just because of this? I see those guys 2 years back. I've never heard of them. Now they've started
Yeah.
certifications and all that. Okay, so what makes them credible? That people ki matlab, yeah, I want to do this certification. How are they allowed to write books that without that kind of formal education that you're talking about? Like let's say a PhD
Yeah.
or at least a masters in something fitness related, right? So what do you think of that? Those kind of
Yeah.
certifications.
Okay. Few things. Okay. I just want to clarify with regards to Shredded by Science, which is now the Personal Trainer Collective by Luke Johnson. Firstly, see, I'm still grateful to them for offering me a full scholarship and teaching me a few things. Now, see, I have given them credit even in the course I'm currently teaching. I don't know if you remember, I think it was module one, lecture six by Stuart Aitken, the sales consultation process. I think that was a beautiful lecture
Not
where he
remember,
spoke
but
about the
I'm
sales.
definitely I watched that because that is one thing that I
Yeah,
liked, that part.
yeah. And that actually helped me immensely. That lecture alone, I felt, um, was worth the price of the cost because previously what I used to do was I used to just draft an email and send it to inquiries. And my conversions increased greatly after I took Stuart Aitken's advice. The problem is um, everything else which was shared was inaccurate to say the least with regards to exercise and nutrition, especially. Yeah, they Luke did a fantastic job helping us with coaching systems, at least online coaching systems, and I did learn. It's not that I didn't. But take the personal trainer collective, for example. The only reason we looked up to that certification was because of Eric Hans, Mike Zordos, and Alan Aragon. Because these are people we looked up to. So Luke, being the smart businessman that he is, he tied up with them, and he's like, "Here you go. There's Eric teaching a course now." And the modules were also quite interesting, right? We all want to know how contest prep happens, and there you go. You got Eric Helms teaching it. We all want to know how to prep powerlifters. Mike Zordos is teaching that. So I have no problem with that. See, at the end of the day, it's a business. Okay, teaching is a business. It's a business for me as well. And now that you look around, we have many people breaking into this business, or many influencers who have already established their businesses by virtue of having a certification program. Well, firstly, more power to them. Why not? Okay, we live in India, and India values education far more than I think it should, because this is a country where parents will take loans and send their children abroad or
I wanted to
wherever.
talk about that also. Like, you
Yeah,
you kind of talk a lot
yeah,
about
it's
that.
exactly. It's like, see, if you're not earning and if you're a kid and if you go to mom and dad and you say, listen, I want to buy a tub of protein, and they say how much? You say 2,000 rupees. They say no. Okay. But if you reach out to them and you say, I want to go study abroad, and they say how much? And you say 20 lakh rupees, they're like, no problem. We'll take a loan and give you that 20 lakhs. Um, it does work like that. Um, and that's fine. Education is important, but um, it's also a problem if you do not know what you're going to do with that education. So just because you have education does not necessarily mean that you'll make the most of it. So now that we have a country where we value education so much, it makes complete sense, right, to launch your own educational initiative, because no matter what, if you have a certification and you put it out there for a student, for example, they look at my certification and they think, oh, that's just 25,000 rupees. What is 25,000 rupees? Let's just pay, man. We'll get another certification under our belt. What's the harm? We'll get to learn something. You'll get to learn something new. The problem with that line of thinking is, uh, you may get to learn something which is incorrect, and then you're going to have to spend twice as much time unlearning. So a student asked me recently, what's the harm with learning? Because she was spending a lot of time learning calculus. So I introduced some foundational physics concepts in the exercise module, and then she took it a step further and felt that she wants to learn calculus. And I said, for what? How are you going to apply calculus to what I've taught you? And she said, what's the harm in learning? I said, learning can be incredibly harmful if it's misdirected, right?
Hmm. Hmm.
Misdirected learning
Hmm.
is harmful. Like there's so many things. There are so many things to learn. Till when are you going to learn? You're going to have to practice as
Exactly.
well, right?
Exactly.
Okay, so you need to learn, and you need to learn accurate, specific things which directly apply to your scope of work, which truly add value to you. And in the quest of learning that, the word accurate matters. If you learn something which is inaccurate, it's going to create a bias which will become incredibly difficult for you to overcome. And pretty soon you'll realize that you're not practicing in this industry, you are malpracticing, because you don't understand what exercise is. And our industry thinks that, okay, nutrition is as simple as macros, calories, micros, okay, done. um so we have problems. And coming back to credibility, they they are taking advantage of the fact that anyone can start an educational initiative without much in the way of credentials. All they need is some influence and an audience who'd buy their product. So they create a product. It's as simple as that.
So it's basically like a product, right? It can be
Yeah,
good, it can be not so good, and it can be dangerous as well for the person taking it or using that product.
but it's a very safe product, because no
Safe
matter
product.
what,
Hmm.
no matter what, for the consumer of this product, even if they learn one or two new things and they think that those things are valuable, we as a community in India have so much respect for our teachers, the Guruji effect, that we'll be forever grateful. If Guruji taught us 10%, which I can accurately apply to my scope of practice, we'll be happy. The rest, 90%, oh, he taught us the ketogenic diet, and he said that, oh, everyone should perform full range of motion and bring the bar all the way down to the chest.
Everyone
We
has to
don't
do
care about
squats and deadlifts.
exactly. We don't care about that, because now he's our guru and we respect him because he taught us, and that line of thinking becomes problematic.
Yeah, so yeah, I was going through your reviews of your this thing, but I'm pretty. So, what do you basically teach people? Like, yeah, I know you teach the whole exercise and this and the science and all that, but I'm pretty sure you give them something. I don't know if you can discuss that, but I'm pretty sure there's something more that you give, which makes it unique. Because, like, if I start something like that, right, I'll be starting. If I started, it'll be more towards the business and the sales side. It won't
Yeah.
be towards the theoretical side and all the,
Yeah.
because that is not my speciality. Okay, I can't sit
Right.
there and talk about physics for half an hour, even 10 minutes I can't talk probably. Okay,
Right.
if I read it I might understand it, but I can't just sit there and go all
Yeah.
crazy like you. But one thing that I'm aware of is how people are, the type of holy shit, live video. I know the type of people that can message you. I know the type of people that are, I know how to respond to people, and I
Yeah.
know a little bit about expanding your business, so that is what I would talk about. So what is that one thing that people might get extra if they take your let's say advice or your certification? Or so is it a certification or is it just like a course, kind of like a crash course kind of a thing?
See, I've made it appear to be a crash course because the industry demands, the consumer demands quick education. So they want a 12-week course. The reality is, if you speak to my students, they know it's not a 12-week course. Okay, because I'm still in batch one and we've crossed the 12-week mark, and about 50% of the course is still remaining in spite of me lecturing every single day. So, what do I teach which is unique? I don't think I teach anything which should be classified as unique. I just teach what should be taught. It's as simple as that. For example, people think that my approach to teaching exercise is unique or it's different or it's physics based. No, I teach what exercise truly is. And it's important to know what exercise truly is if you truly want to understand the stimulus which exercise provides you. Um, Exercise is force. Quite simply, if I'm holding a dumbbell over here, okay, there is a force which that dumbbell is applying straight down, and that force has a magnitude, it has a point of application, and it has a direction. Now, that same, let's say, 5 pound dumbbell over here does not feel the same as it would over here. It's 5 pounds here, it's 5 pounds here as well, but it doesn't feel the same, right? The resistance changes. Now, why does it change, and why is that important for us to know? And what is exercise? At the end of the day, I've got force here. I need to produce some force from somewhere to counteract this force, to compete with this force. The force is the foundation upon which exercise is built. Without understanding force, you cannot even begin to comprehend exercise. We have our evidence, the great evidence based fitness community, which wants to talk about volume and adaptations and how muscle grows. You cannot claim to understand adaptations when you do not even understand the stimulus. And our industry is terrible at it. Even those with master's degrees and PhDs, they don't understand this information. And the same applies with nutrition as well. Flexible dieting culture makes it seem like we can eat whatever the hell we want to eat without consequences. Then why do dietitians go to 3-year bachelor programs and then do their masters and get RDs and PhDs? Is nutrition truly as simple as calories, macros, micros? Really? So these are things worth thinking about, because the way nutrition is currently taught, I can teach my 5-year-old cousin nutrition and open my fitness pal and say, here you go, that's 30 minutes of nutrition, and there you go. Now you can write nutrition programs and add soya chunks for everyone. So there are problems. So what I teach is, which comes across as unique information, it comes across as different information, and it comes across as relevant information. With regards to business and marketing, it's worth thinking about what business is, what is the purpose of business, or what marketing is. It's not like business and marketing um, are new. The principles of business and marketing have stood the test of time. What we knew about business and marketing 1,000 years ago still applies today. Our methods of engagement may have changed, okay, but the principles haven't changed. So if you understand the principles, then you start understanding not just your scope of practice, but how you can deliver that scope of practice and make a name for yourself. That's
Right.
what matters.
So basically, if people want to reach out to you, this is what they'll get. You will teach them what needs to be taught, right?
Yes.
Good, good. All right. So now I want to talk to you regarding before we talk about veganism. Are you still a vegan, by the way?
No, I'm not a vegan anymore.
No, you're not. So I've seen you eating kaju, barfi, and all that. So that's why I
Yes.
asked. I'm kind of glad. But before we go to that, I
Yeah.
wanted to ask you regarding your own kind of training. Like, what kind of training protocol do you follow? I'm not talking about for your clients.
Yeah.
Like, as a
Yeah.
person, like I'll display his physique. I'm pretty sure you have at least one picture of your physique, right? Because I don't see you clicking many, posting many pictures.
Yeah.
So. Okay, so I
Yeah.
post this picture. So what is your training like? Like you said, you also incorporate a lot of sport, right? So,
Yeah.
and I also see you going out. Maybe your activity is kind of high, right? Like
Hmm.
your activity is high. You basically keep moving around. So, what is your
Yeah.
main thing when it comes to keeping your physique up? Are you not focused on looking a certain way anymore, or what's your basic training routine like these days?
Well, see, we all want to look good, so I don't think I'll ever say that I I'm not motivated by aesthetics, but over the years, it is not as much of a priority as it used to be, largely because I don't have as much time to devote to training because I have work to do and I have other responsibilities. So, and football is back in my life, and I really enjoy playing football, which means that if I have a training session scheduled and one of my friends calls me and he says, "Oh, we've got a game," I'll abandon my training session and go play the game. So, to be honest with you, I don't have much of a training routine, even though I have a gym in my own house right now. At most, I may get one full body training session a week, which lasts 20 to 30 minutes, essentially just supersetting a few exercises which I enjoy. And outside of that, it's just football.
Okay, regarding that, like let's say these days, a lot of people, they work and they don't have time. Even though they
Yeah.
might have the time, but let's say they don't have the time, or they can't
Yeah.
make the time for training. Or have you lost gains? Like, have you lost any size or like
Yeah.
muscle mass as such?
Yeah. But that's largely a consequence of the amount of endurance activity which I do now. See, I am most certainly active. Physical activity is really important for me. I will never abandon that. I will make sure that no matter what, football or not, I get some form of physical activity in the day. It's just that I have so many opportunities to play football right now that that just seems more interesting and exciting, which is why I play football. But physical activity is an absolute must for me, no matter what, no matter how busy I get. I will take out time, and football is not. It's not that it takes less time. Like traveling, warming up, it's easily a 2.5, 3 hour affair, which means I am taking out a lot of time. What it also means is that that's all the time I can take out. Outside of that, then I need to focus on work. Otherwise, I'll just be too tired to work.
Yeah, one more question regarding the same thing. Now, like I said, people, when they message me, they'll tell me that I don't have the time to train 6 times a week. I tell them, of course you don't, but 3 times a week. Let's say they can only train 3 times a week, okay, and their goal is they are looking for fat loss as well. So, but
Yeah,
they can only dedicate 3 days, okay. So,
yeah,
do you think that is one of the words that people like to use, optimal, when they are trying to maintain as much muscle as possible when they are you know trying to lose weight? So what do you think about that? Because these are the kind of questions people ask generally, even though it's not something that complicated, but these are the questions that this is a question that I got today, so
yeah.
I'm asking that question to you.
Yes. Now, see, this is where people misunderstand me and they think that I speak in absolutes when there are reasons why I say what I say. Within the context of this interview, I don't know if I'll be able to elaborate upon them, but firstly, If someone says they don't have time to train 6 days a week or 7 days a week, that's a lie. There, I have not met a single person, and trust me, I work with CEOs, man, and they actually do not have time, but they know the value of spending, waking up early and spending those few precious minutes moving and exercising. Everyone has time. It's just that you do not care enough about yourself and you haven't prioritized yourself, which is why you think it's okay not to get physical activity in the day. Everyone has time. I'm dead serious about that. And of course, see, I am still speaking in generics. There may be some circumstance wherein, for whatever reason, this person just has so much unplanned events which came about and they are not able to devote some time to physical activity. But the truth is, most people have time, and that whole 3 days a week is not good enough. People need to remain physically active every single day.
Yeah, it
That's
doesn't
a must.
necessarily have to be just weights, right? It can be anything. It
Yeah,
can just be as
it
simple
can
as
be.
maybe walking like for half an hour a day, right? As simple as, I mean, maybe, see, I'm talking in for people who have extreme circumstances. Okay, this is for people who have extreme, because some people you never know, dude. Like maybe there are people who I train who travel 3 hours per day. Okay,
Yeah,
they travel 3 hours per day. Then they're all very tired. So there are limitations for certain people. So what I'm asking is, so let's say a person can go to the gym 3 times a week for some reason. Okay, but what you're trying to
yeah,
say is there has to be some kind of physical activity no matter what. There's no excuses
yeah,
for that, right? That's what you're trying to
yeah,
say. And I also tell people
yeah,
that key, like, okay, you don't have time because you're working always, right? But if you are not active right now, 5 years down the line, you are not going to be
yeah,
able to work like that. Like your body won't allow
yeah,
you to work, right? So
exactly.
yeah, so that is what
Yeah,
I
and
tell
and
to
I
the
don't
people.
buy the whole working all day excuse. It truly is an excuse. Like, okay, I grilled my clients. Come on, we both worked with people. I'm just more nosy, and I want to know. Okay, you're working all day. You don't have time. No, fine. Prove it. Demonstrate that you don't have time, and show me. Let me see what work you did, buddy, today. Let's see your Excel sheet, because that's what most IT professionals do, right? They've got an Excel sheet open in front of them all day. Show me, buddy. Okay, you just logged in your hours and you took off from office. That's the truth. Um, and yeah, I say this because I work with people who actually work the entire day and they still remove time
It's like
for
fitness is
exercise.
like a luxury that everyone can actually afford, right? So health and fitness basically everyone can afford
Yeah,
it, but for some reason people are not willing to take it. So now coming
yeah,
to the main topic that I wanted to discuss regarding with you actually, is regarding veganism. Now, if you guys want to watch Aman's, I don't think your stance has changed that much, right? Regarding the whole protein and the quality of protein and all that. If it has changed, I would love to discuss regarding that as well. So one of the things that you
yeah,
said is regarding the ethical, side of being a vegan, right? Regarding
yeah.
the animal cruelty and all that. So now that you're not a vegan, so what is your current stance on that particular topic?
With regards to ethics, my arguments remain the same. I do not think it's morally permissible to kill animals for food without a good enough reason. Um, Now, the reason I am not vegan today is because I feel I have a good enough reason to consume small amounts of animal products. So I did that presentation for you in 2016. I would say largely about 80% of that information I'm still on board with. 20% of it, some of what I'd shared in the soy slide, and with regards to my conclusion, which is that vegans and non-vegans can do just as well as long as vegans supplement their diet, that has changed slightly.
So
I
how?
do not think, yeah,
So how? Yeah, continue. Like, which side are you tilting towards?
I'd say vegans can get close, but I do not think they can reach the level non-vegans can in terms of maximizing benefits from nutrition.
In what way? Like, in are you talking about like the
Well,
micronutrient side or the protein intake or?
no, so see, compounds which we are familiar with, okay, for example, vitamins and minerals, we can supplement with. Zoo nutrients which we are familiar with, like creatine, taurine, carnitine, we can supplement with them. However, we can only supplement with creatine, taurine, and carnitine because we discovered them.
Good point.
There may be yeah, there may be compounds present in meat which we haven't discovered, which may be beneficial. So now the question we need to ask ourselves is, uh, it's the year 2022. Have we reached a stage in our investigation wherein we can confidently say that we've discovered every single beneficial compound present in meat? I don't think we can say that.
Definitely.
And that's the reason why I choose to consume small doses of animal products. And what are those animal products? They're eggs. And occasionally I'll consume seafood, which will include fish and more often than not, bivalves like mussels, clams, and oysters. The way I justify this is that I try to lean towards consuming animals which fall lower on the sentience scale. Sentience is the ability to feel, to experience the world around us. We know that dogs can feel. Uh, Likewise, we also know that cows, chickens, and pigs can feel. It's clear as day. Um, so I still choose not to consume those animals for ethical reasons. However, if I want to derive um, compounds which are beneficial, potentially beneficial, I can still derive them from animals which fall lower on the scale, with the hope being that since they do not have a nervous system or they do not have as complex a nervous system as a cow, chicken, or pig does, I can consume them without doing much in the way of harm.
Okay, so when did you stop being a vegan?
Well, for the most part in 2020, when my depression peaked, and I was willing to do anything it takes to not be depressed, essentially. So I was on medication. The medication was helping, but my psychiatrist also emphasized that I'm going to have to take steps outside of relying on medication to get better. Because of the lockdowns, I was justifying not exercising. Okay, so football was off, gyms were off. That's the reason I have a home gym, by the way, because not because it's my studio or it's a space where I do personal training. It's just for me. That place is just for me and for my friends. We chill over there,
So
we
it was
fool
because
around
of
there, we
the
watch.
circumstances, you kind of set it up, right?
Yeah, of course. That's my living room and dining room. I made that a gym. Now, tomorrow, if I were to get married, that becomes a problem because my partner will be like, "Why? What is this, man? Why, we are living in a gym now." That's a reality. But for me, that space has done wonders. To this very day, if I'm stressed for whatever reason, I just get, I just step outside my office, get in that space. It's nice. I'm surrounded by objects I like. I play my music, get my football, fool around a little bit, and I feel better. So yeah, the reason I started including more animal products is because I felt my mental health could improve if I include some animal products. Now, does that mean my mental health improved because I started including animal products? I do not know because I made a lot of other changes. I started exercising. I built a gym for myself. I started taking better care of myself. Um,
I made a lot of other changes in my life, and the medication, of course, played. I think that played the biggest role, because as soon as I got on medication, I felt so much better. So, yeah, a combination of all of these things put together facilitated my recovery. But you asked me about motivation, right? I'll share my biggest motivation with you. My biggest motivation is not to become depressed again. And if I have done something which I feel has helped me for whatever reason, I will continue doing that something. And I don't want to go to that dark place again.
Definitely. I completely agree with you regarding that. But yeah, like you said, you're limiting, you're not like eating like a carnivore, right? Now, the reason I asked you this question regarding your mental health and you eating meat is recently there's been a lot of, people coming out and talking about, how a certain kind of diet, let's say a carnivore diet, you know, has
Right.
helped them with, like autoimmune diseases, right? Like
Yeah.
for example, Jordan Peterson's daughter, right? For example, like, okay, I don't know, I don't want to go to that topic, but I'm just giving an example. There's a lot of anecdotes regarding this thing. Like you said, you don't know if it was because of the lifestyle changes, or the medication, or this, or maybe a combination of
Yeah.
everything, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so my experience with veganism is something that I would like to share as well. Now, because after your video, I also I did try it. Okay, I did try it
Yeah.
because my dog got injured. Like he got injured, and I had to take him to the vet. And when I came back, I passed this butcher's place, and all that scene
Hmm.
kind of made me weird out.
Yeah.
Okay, so I thought, okay, let me try it out. I did try it out for 4 months, but for me, I also followed the advice that you gave, that you can eat this and that and blah blah blah. I did that, but it just did not go well with my gut. Like I would eat
Hmm.
dal, I would eat whatever your legumes and everything. I just felt like shit. Like I would have such bloating, and I was very fit that time in terms of my
Right.
overall physique wise. I was not fat or anything. I was very lean, and I was healthy before that. And I just kept going. Like people said, it takes time for your body to adjust and all that shit. So I thought, okay, let me try. But I just tried. I tried, and I was also on a cut that time. And I
Hmm.
just tried to eat as many calories as possible, but I would still feel hungry. My sleep wouldn't be good. I'd wake up in the middle of the night. There would be chicken, but then I'll have to eat whatever, fruit or something. So that is
Right.
one thing that I found it did not work with me. And even today, whenever I eat dal, right, with rice, it just kind of messes with my gut for some
Yeah.
reason. Not like farting or something. I just feel like there's 10 kg dumbbell in my stomach. That's how I feel. So I just
Yeah.
I completely go with your emotions in terms of the whole animal thing. You see, I have a cat, dog, and everything. Of course, So I'm kind of a hypocrite when I say that I love animals and all that shit. But like you
Right.
said, I don't eat as much meat as I used to before. And if it makes sense, I also eat the free range, the chicken
Hmm.
these days. All this antibiotic free and all that. So yeah, this is something that this debate will continue, till the end of the human race, right? This will never stop. This whole what is you know what is right in terms of how much, what you can kill and what you can't kill. Like you said, the feeling thing, right? Some feel lesser than others, but feeling is feeling, right, at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Um.
yeah, go
Yeah.
on.
Yeah. See. These. This topic has been discussed extensively. It falls under moral philosophy. So philosophers have discussed this topic in far more detail than you and I have perhaps explored. And there have been issues of morality in the past which have seen the light of day. For example, there was a time when we never thought slavery would be abolished, but it did. So I still feel that if we are able to, so the hypothetical which I use is very simple. Let's say we are successful with producing lab meat, lab produced meat, and then there you go. You got two options now. This is chicken breast, which comes from which came from a living, breathing chicken, and this is you got the identical chicken breast, the same texture, the same taste, the same nutritional profile, or perhaps better. You can optimize the nutrition profile of something which you've synthesized in a laboratory. Um, they are priced the same. Now the choice is yours. What would you consume? So then, if we can reach there, and we aren't that far away. Unfortunately, these the COVID-19 vaccine, there was a lot in the way of interest and funding which went into creating that vaccine, and for good reason, which is why we have vaccines today, many different vaccines. People think it's a miracle. People think there's a conspiracy. Well, how do we have vaccines when we never had vaccines of this nature before? What we do, because demand supply, right? If we can increase demand for a product of this nature, it will come about.
Yeah, that's something I hope that happens, right? And then people have a proper choice to make, right?
Yeah.
Okay, then we can maybe discuss that. But yeah, so yeah, bro, like it was nice catching up with you. Maybe 2 years down the line we can do something like this again. And like we discussed a lot, I hope people got something more than just body kaise banate hai, that is what my goal is, because body banana, to be really honest, if you're consistent enough, it's not that hard to get a decent physique, to reach the top, peak of your potential. Okay, maybe there is something more that we can learn, but in terms of getting a decent physique, there's a lot of information already. But I want you guys to learn something from experiences of, how old are you, by the way, now? 28, 27?
I'm 29.
29, okay. So, oh, I thought you're actually younger than me, dude. I'm 2 years younger than you. But yeah, so he has experienced a lot. I have also experienced something similar, but I'm not going to talk about that right now, because I'm still in the process of, so-called healing, right? So I would definitely talk about that someday. But it was great talking to you, Aman. So what are your, I wouldn't ask long-term goals, but let's say I'll put a generic question in front of you. So what goals do you have for this year?
Goals for this year. So here's something you may be surprised by hearing. My goals are pretty flexible, in the sense that I've learned with time that goals can change, and it's okay for goals to make adjustments as times change. Nothing taught me that lesson better than 2019-20, the whole pandemic situation and how it affected the fitness industry. So my goals are largely centered around teaching and to continue doing my job to the best of my ability. So teach well, coach well, and if I can offer a service to anyone else, I'll try to do the best in that regard. But largely to continue doing what I'm already doing, is to prioritize myself, look after my family, and work to the best of my ability, and have fun and continue playing football.
Yeah, definitely. That is something that I want to start again. Like, so what, you play with your close friends? Like, yes, or you made friends after you started playing?
Oh, well, the truth is, I've actually got banned from two groups, and those groups were actually I wouldn't regard them as friends, but they they're my schoolmates, but they don't want to play with me anymore. The evidence for one of those bans is on my YouTube channel, by the way.
Okay. Yeah, I will
Okay.
definitely drop the
Yeah.
link to your channel. But another
Yeah.
thing, bro, another thing.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
regarding content, right? So you are more
Yeah.
of a live kind of, content creator. Like you make
Yeah.
live content, right? Like you stand in front of the
Yes.
camera, people ask, you answer. So do you ever plan on,
Yeah.
uh, doing a conventional kind of YouTube channel, like having a conventional where you give out information that maybe is not available on the internet? So have you thought of that?
Yeah. See, of course I have. There's no doubt about it. However, I did tell you that I have a few scores to settle before I become all nice and likable for social media. There are people who are watching, and my avatar is directed towards them. These are people who consider themselves authorities, who think they know nutrition, they know exercise, they know how to conduct themselves, and they understand business and marketing. For me, it's very important that I settle those scores with these individuals first. Show them that I can cross the line and still make it. And yeah, in the future, um, I will perhaps present a more professional, refined version of what I share on social media right now. But right now, it's just to show these professionals who don't like me that listen, I can come live, I can show up, and I can get away with saying a lot, which you guys can't because you're not as good as me. That's a message for them, and they know exactly who they are, and they're watching and they're hating and they're hurting. Once those scores are settled, you'll see me conduct myself a little better.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think when I said that, I didn't mean in terms of the way you present yourself, because what might happen is now people are getting a liking to your whole personality, like this whole, like not, I'm not talking about this when you're going live. I don't think that is ever going to be a problem. That doesn't make you less professional. है ना कि like it is something new, a breath of fresh air, I would like to call, because there's not people who present themselves like that. That is not something, like I know what you're saying in terms of professional, like being like wearing like decent clothes and like sitting in front of the camera and speaking. I get it, but if there's one suggestion that I can give, I would say that just be like this. That will be your, that will always be your
Oh, certainly, sure. I appreciate that and thank you for that. See, I will most certainly be like this, but what I was trying to get at is that at the end of the day, I'm a businessman, right? I don't want to lose potential customers because I triggered someone's insecurities or I hurt their feelings. Um, and sometimes the truth has to be shared, but it does not have to be shared as brutally. And that's what I was trying to get at. So I think about my presentation, my delivery, and I realized that okay, some of this is not just for my potential customers, it's for individuals who think they're professionals in this industry who don't really like me. And fine, maybe once I've moved on from that, I can still say the things I say, but not perhaps hurt as many people or many children.
Okay, okay. So I wish you all the best for your, I hope you keep triggering those people that have wronged you, and I hope that that comes to an end, and then you can, maybe, we can do this again sometime. Once you are done,
Most
you're
of it.
done with your, done with your, done with settling the
Social
scores.
media shenanigans.
Yeah, I mean, like see, like when I first when I was also missing from social media, right? So I had no idea what was
Hmm.
happening. Then I slowly started getting back on Facebook, because then Facebook is, not many people are that active there, right? So that is when I found you, and I was like, wow, like Aman Duggal is like completely, to be really honest, if I can be honest, I was like, what's happened to this guy? That's what I thought first, because like on face value, right, you look at on first impression, you look, because I thought my experience with you has always been just through that one video, right, that you made for me, and then a little bit here and there. And the other video that I watched was regarding Kaizad Kapadia. I mean, may his soul
Right.
rest in peace. But he also had made a
Hmm.
video regarding him as well. So but it was completely different, right? So when I saw, I was like little bit, oh my god, right? So yeah, I just kept following. I just kept watching, what you're doing. I was, and a lot of people, like there are a few. A couple of my clients have also mentioned you, like I really like his content. So you're hitting the right spots. So keep going, and we need definitely need more people like you. I mean, there won't be, but that's the sad part. But yeah, I'm glad that you're back, and your contribution. You should know that it is appreciated by people a lot more than the comments and all the things that you see. There are people who appreciate your content other than in terms of commenting or liking and all that. So just keep going, and I hope after this podcast more people can see what you are, and you know just keep going. That's all I would say. And I know it's actually quite good because you shared a lot of things that people wouldn't share, right, for free, right? Because you did give a lot of good advice as well, which even I learned from as well. So it gives a new perspective for everyone. So yeah, bro, I really enjoyed it, and I hope you had a good time as
Thank you.
well. And it's what, 1:30. I hope I am not keeping you up
Yeah,
for too long.
not at all, man. This was a pleasure. I had a great time catching up with you, and it's good to see you back as well.
Yeah, I'm
And
on
thank
my
you
way
for
back.
this.
Yeah, bro. Yeah, definitely. So take care, and thanks guys for watching. My phone is about to die, but I appreciate you guys watching. And also go and check out Aman Duggal's Instagram, Facebook, not so much, right, anymore.
I
Instagram,
guess not.
yeah.
I
Facebook,
guess not. Facebook is dying.
yeah, Facebook is dying. And Instagram, YouTube, he has his own channel now by the name Aman Duggal. Link in the description. Show him some love, and I think Aman might also respond to the comments in this video like he did last time. So if there are any questions, maybe he can check them out in a couple of days. And yeah, guys, that's pretty much it. Subscribe to my channel as well, first of all, and then go to his channel and subscribe to him. And that's pretty much it. Thanks a lot for watching. I'll see you again. Peace.
Thank you.